What's up, everyone? Welcome to this episode of Nerd Files. I want to thank you for taking the time to check out this video today. We're going to talk about Final Fantasy XVI and the ending that it brought with it. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually played it, how many of you guys are considering playing it. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time right now, we are discussing the ending of this game and really just my thoughts, because I honestly, this game was good. I like the story, and then what they pull at the end just kind of just ruffled the feathers, so to say. You know, if I had feathers, I'll go rub a chocobo feather. I'll go grab one. Anyway, disclaimer ahead of time: we are discussing the end of the game, so if you do not want to be the person that watches the end of the game as you're playing it, then don't watch this video. If you do want to kind of understand and you've already been in the game, stick around. Let's go ahead and discuss it, and you can leave some stuff in the comments and let me know what you think about this video.
And always will.
All right, so now that we've got everybody here that wants to watch this video, let's go ahead and continue, shall we? So let me go ahead and give you a quick rundown of the story real quick, just so you can understand what's happened and what's going on. We have Joshua, Clive, and Prince Dion that are going to go and fight Origin and, save the world, go to Origin and save the world and everything like that. Fighting just Ultima and killing him and getting rid of anything that's bad that's happened, getting rid of the mother crystals and doing what ultimately, surprisingly, what Ultima wanted. Ultima wanted you to destroy the mother crystals. He wanted them gone to trigger the effects of what was going to happen at the end. Granted, it didn't go quite Ultima's way. So as we go through the fight scene here at the very end of the game, Dion, and he sacrifices himself to try to save Joshua and Clive at the very end of this massive aerial battle that they're doing. And it's working out pretty well, but it's a long cutscene. It's just like, here, take a look.
Here they come! Hold on, Joshua!
Already am!
after this long battle cutscene, it goes into where Clive and Joshua are wounded pretty much. Clive is pretty much in good shape for the most part, but Joshua has to be like helped to the chamber where Ultima's at. And it's just like, all right, well, that's great. And then he realized that he can't do anything. So Joshua gives his power of the Phoenix finally to Clive, which then he now has all the different abilities from all the different beings. So he's got Bahamut's, Titans, the Phoenix, all the different entities, that all the Archons, the dominants. That's what I'm looking for. All the different dominants in this game. And so then Clive goes and fights, and Joshua's over here dead. Just FYI, he's dead. And Clive wins. He comes out in the end. That's what happens, right? The hero wins. He's supposed to win.
We fight. We survive.
But it doesn't quite end the way you think it does, because right there at the end, Clive wants to potentially revive Joshua. I'm not sure how this works. Like, he goes over to him. He's laying on the ground, dead. He's got a hole in his chest ripped out from where he had originally had like stored one of the many Ultimas. Spoiler alert there, that were actually there, and he somehow like fixes the hole. So does Joshua live at this point? I don't know. It's kind of an awe statement. There's nothing that really says so. But then we go to right here where the crystal needs to get destroyed, and it's not any crystal. It's obviously a lot bigger than any of the other crystals that were destroyed in this game. So he can't just run over and break it like he had before. He pretty much uses all of his magical abilities, and he's like, all right, well, I'm going to sacrifice myself pretty much. All right, let's go. Heroic pose, right? Cool. I like that ending. It's heartwarming. It's heartfelt. He dies a hero's death to protect everyone, and then it goes back to the hideaway. You see Jill realizing that the sky's clear, the moon's back out, and then that she understands that Clive's not around anymore. Clive's dead. She's sad. She's heartbroken. Torgal goes to her side and puts his like shoulder there, and like you hear his howl and stuff like that, and they both know that Clive's dead. Okay, and they surprise you. They surprise you. I'm like, okay, cool. That's a good way for Clive to die. It's a great heroic ending. It's a simple way of what I've seen for some of the Final Fantasy games, of the hero dying to sacrifice himself and save everyone. And then they do something extra ordinary or extra unordinary, should I say. They show Clive washed up on the beach, and they have the sand coming up and everything, and it's like you can see it. He looks good. He looks beat up and worn. And then he's like, well, this is not a bad way to die, looking up at the stars and everything, because all of a sudden it shows that his body is having the curse impact him. Now, the curse impact that the bearers face, it takes a while sometimes for it to impact the person who's been affected by it, or it could take minutes to impact him, from what I've seen. Sometimes it happens overnight and they're just done, or it takes days, depending on the individual. So this ending kind of leaves it for both an open and a not open ending, but at the same time, that he's just gonna die. He's gonna sit there, lay on that beach, and probably just die. That's the way it seemed to go. I mean, here it is. And now that we have that out of the way, we go to the credits. Credits roll. Fast forward, play through it all. Unfortunately, they're fairly long and it's annoying, but in Final Fantasy style, in any good game style, I love games with end of credit scenes. They just, you know, it makes me want to watch the credits, and that's why I've done it since I was a kid. Always watch the credits, always look and see what's there. And there was. All of a sudden you see this book on this desk, these two kids playing and stuff like that, talking about Bahamut, talking about Mephisto and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, well, what is this? And then all of a sudden the book title shows up and it says Final Fantasy, and it's got Joshua's name on it as the writer of the book. So this leaves me with the conclusion that it may be either Joshua survived and wrote a book about what happened from all the stuff that's now gone on, and it's been like 50 years, 100 years or longer since that time frame, and that's just a, you know, different spot in the world. The world's healed itself and everything. You know, I can get behind that. Or was this whole game we played just a book? Was it just a fairy tale that we played that, you know, fairy tales can be rewritten or they can be changed or different, and it leaves for a whole different thing to be made? Like, what does the book signify? Does it signify a new beginning? Does it signify an end to what had happened in the world? Is it fantasy? Is it fact? Is it fiction? Is it what is it? And so I don't know what to think, and it boggles my brain a little bit thinking about this. And you know what? Let me ask you this question. Is this a good game? Does this ending actually feel like a good ending, and this is what we should have been expecting? Or was this a terrible ending and we just should just leave it alone? Leave your questions and concerns or comments. Leave all the details you want to in the comments below. And I mean, I'll answer them as best as I can, but ultimately I just want to see what people think. Like, it's just weird and bizarre because it's just a struggle when you hear that. It's like, all right, is this good? Is this bad? I don't know. I personally didn't like it. I thought it would have been better just to have the heroic ending, you know, him dead, maybe Joshua surviving because, you know, he blew up the crystal and everything and he comes back. You know, if Joshua would have survived and, you know, come back, stuff like that, that would have been,
If you need a rest, I can take it.
that would have been really just spot on. Then they could have done a story with Joshua afterwards, after everything that happened, you know, Final Fantasy XVI 2, like they did with Final Fantasy 13 2. You know, it's ideas. Anyway, again, leave your comments below. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you don't want to see this content, you know, you don't have to watch it again. If you want to see more content like this, please go ahead and subscribe, and, you know, we'll see what happens. So till next time, guys, you guys have a good one.
I can't.